Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take sources, really unpack them, and figure out what matters for you.
Hmm.
Today, we're jumping into something pretty fascinating, I think. It's the intersection of artificial intelligence, AI, and genealogy research.
Yeah, it's cutting-edge tech meeting, like really personal history. It's a cool mix.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we're centering on, well, one main source.
Right. It's a blog post by Diane Henricks. The title is The Top 10 Tips for Using AI Effectively in Genealogy.
Okay.
It was on the Know Who Wears the Genes in Your Family blog,
Mhm.
dated January 26, 2025. So pretty recent thinking on this.
Got it. So, Diane Henricks, 10 tips. Our mission here is, not just to list them out, but to really understand how AI can actually help you if you're tracing your roots.
And crucially, where the pitfalls are.
Right, where
Yeah.
you need to be careful. And how to use these tools, well, wisely and ethically. It's about using tech to maybe uncover those family stories.
And Diane's core point right up front is that AI isn't just like a gimmick. It's actually changing how people approach genealogy.
How so?
Well, it can streamline some of the tedious bits, enhance old records, maybe even surface connections you wouldn't spot easily.
Okay, so it's a potentially powerful tool. Where do you even begin, though? If you're listening and thinking, okay, AI, how?
Diane's first tip is, honestly, fundamental. Start with a clear plan. Know your goals.
Define what you want the AI to do.
Exactly. What specific problem are you trying to tackle? Is it trying to read that faded, spidery handwriting on an old letter?
Yeah, or maybe you've got photos that are really damaged, or documents in German or Italian.
Right. Identifying that specific task is step one, because that guides you to the right kind of AI tool.
And the source, Diane's post, gives examples.
It does. For messy handwriting, she mentions OCR, Optical Character Recognition. That tech is getting, surprisingly good. For foreign language documents, translation tools, DeepL, Google Translate, they can give you a really solid first pass.
So it's about matching the tech to the genealogy puzzle you're facing right now.
Precisely. Which leads directly into something else Diane really hammers home early on. Tip 3, I think it was.
What's that?
The quality of what you put in. Your input data. It matters. A lot.
The classic garbage in, garbage out, applied to your ancestors.
Basically, yes. AI isn't magic, right? It processes what you give it.
Ah.
If you upload a tiny blurry photo of a newspaper clipping.
You can't expect miracles on the other side.
Exactly. The AI will struggle. It might miss names, mangle dates, misread locations.
So rule one, almost, is start with good quality stuff. High-res scans, clear photos, legible text if possible. That's the foundation.
It really is. Okay, so say you have good input and you know your goal. What is AI actually good at, according to the source?
Right. What are its strengths in this context?
Diane points out it excels at pattern recognition and repetitive tasks, things like transcribing typed text, or even summarizing a long document or doing those initial translations.
Okay, that makes sense. It's fast processing. But what about the weaknesses? Where does the human researcher, where do you still need to be in charge?
Big time. AI can really miss the boat on historical context or subtleties in language. It doesn't understand history or family dynamics like a person does.
So it might translate a word correctly, but miss the, cultural implication?
Exactly. Diane uses the example of an AI translation, might be technically right, but miss slang or local sayings or just the feel that a human expert would catch.
So the takeaway is, don't just accept what it spits out.
Absolutely not. Treat it as a draft. That's a key phrase from the source. It's a powerful assistant, maybe, but you are the lead researcher. You're the editor, the fact checker.
You provide the context.
Yes, which feels like a good bridge to another really critical point Diane makes. Tip 5, I believe, privacy and ethics.
Oh, yeah. That's huge in genealogy anyway.
Non-negotiable. Protecting personal data is vital. You have to look at the privacy policies of these AI tools. Where does your data go? Who sees it?
Especially with family info. And Diane gives a specific warning, doesn't she? About living people.
Yes. Be incredibly cautious. Maybe even avoid altogether uploading details about living relatives unless you are absolutely certain about the platform's security and privacy.
Right. That's just basic ethical research practice, really. Keep living people's info private.
Totally. Okay, so
Yeah.
foundation laid. Clear goals, good data, understand the limits, be ethical. Now, how do you actually interact with these tools for the best results.
This is where the how-to comes in, and Diane's second tip fits here perfectly, actually. It's about the prompts you use.
Yes, giving the AI good instructions.
Right. Be specific, be detailed.
And detail doesn't necessarily mean long-winded, right? It means precise.
Yeah. Asking something vague like, tell me about my ancestor, John Smith, that's not going to get you far.
No, you'll get generic stuff, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Instead, Diane contrasts that with a more action-oriented prompt.
Like,
Something like, summarize this attached wedding record, and please highlight the full names of the bride and groom, the date, the location, and the names of all witnesses mentioned.
okay. You're telling it exactly what information to find and how to present it.
Precisely. Clear task, specific output needed. That guides the AI much better.
But even with the best prompt and good data, there's still that crucial next step. Tip 6 from Diane.
Verification. Evaluating everything. This is where your expertise is absolutely irreplaceable.
The AI's output is just a suggestion, not gospel.
Not even close. You have to check it. Did it really transcribe that tricky 18th century surname correctly? Did it pull the right date?
Does the summary it generated actually match the key facts in the original document?
Exactly. Diane suggests always cross-referencing. Go back to the source image or text. If the AI gives you something weird, like an ancestor supposedly born after they died, that's a giant red flag. You need other records to confirm or deny.
This actually reminds me, I saw a comment on Diane's original post. Someone was saying that AI sometimes just, makes stuff up, hallucinates, they called it.
That's a really important point to bring up, and it ties directly into verification. Diane's response, as I recall, was spot on.
What did she say?
Basically, that AI isn't a search engine in the way we usually think of it. It's not independently going out and finding facts across the web to answer your genealogy question.
Right. It primarily works with the information you provide.
Yes. So if you give it incomplete data, or ask it to make a leap beyond what the text supports, it might generate something that sounds plausible but is actually incorrect. That's the hallucination. It's trying to fill a gap based on patterns, not facts it possesses.
Okay, so that reinforces the whole loop. You need good input, that was tip 3, but then you need meticulous verification, tip 6, precisely because the AI might invent things if it doesn't have the right info or context.
Exactly. It's processing the text you feed it, mainly. It doesn't have its own verified database of everyone's family tree. So think of it as this incredibly fast text processor, but one that needs constant supervision.
Okay. But when you do supervise it correctly, it can be a huge help, right? Time saving is a big one Diane mentions.
Oh, massive. This is probably the most immediate, tangible benefit for a lot of researchers, I think.
What kind of tasks are we talking about?
Well, think about manually scanning pages and pages of old census records or city directories, just pulling out names and addresses.
Hours and hours. Days sometimes.
Right. AI can potentially do that kind of data extraction much, much faster. Or enhancing those faded photos that used to take specialized skills. Now AI tools can often do a pretty decent job automatically.
The source even name-dropped a specific tool, transcribus, for handwritten stuff.
Yeah, for tackling difficult historical handwriting, that alone could be a game changer for some brick walls. Imagine finally deciphering that pile of old family letters.
The time saved. It frees you up for the actual thinking part of genealogy.
Exactly. Less grunt work, more analysis, more connecting the dots, figuring out the story, which actually leads nicely into another of Diane's tips. Experiment. Get creative.
Okay, now this sounds interesting, beyond just processing documents.
Yeah, think outside the box a bit. Could you use AI to help map out an ancestor's migration path based on records you found?
Visualizing the journey.
Or, say you've gathered a lot of facts and stories about a particular ancestor. Could you use AI as like a brainstorming partner to help you draft a narrative about their life? Maybe even inspire a poem or a short story based on their experiences.
Using it as a creative assistant, that's a different lens. Moving from just data crunching to helping synthesize and maybe even share the history.
Right. Experimenting might reveal uses you hadn't even thought of. And as you figure out what works for you, Diane stresses staying updated. Tip 9, I think.
Which is tough because this AI stuff changes so fast.
It really does.
Yeah.
That comment on her blog post you mentioned, someone said how hard it is just to keep pace. It's true.
So what does Diane suggest?
Personalize your approach. If you find you're constantly asking the AI to, say, summarize parish records in a specific format, see if the tool lets you save that instruction.
Like a template.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Many chatbots have features like custom instructions or memory. You can use these to teach the AI about your specific research focus, your preferred output style, the recurring names or places. It helps tailor the tool over time.
Okay, so adapt the tool to your workflow. Makes sense.
Well,
We've covered a lot. Goals, data, verification, time saving, creativity, staying current. What's the final piece? Tip 10.
It ties it all together nicely. Foster continuity. Treat the AI less like a one-off command line and more like, well, a collaborative partner.
What does that mean practically?
Diane suggests keeping related tasks together in the same conversation or session with the AI.
Ah, okay. So if you ask it to transcribe a letter,
Then in the very next prompt in the same chat, ask it to summarize that transcription or pull out all the names mentioned.
because it remembers the context from the previous step.
Exactly. It maintains the thread of the conversation, which usually leads to better, more relevant results for those follow-up tasks on the same document or topic.
That makes so much sense. It's a dialogue. And Diane actually uses a great analogy for this in her wrap-up, doesn't she?
She does. She says, think of the chatbot less like a search box and more like a friend you're having a chat with. The key part is chat. It's interactive.
Yeah, I like that. So her final thoughts, the overall message.
It's really that AI is a powerful ally when used thoughtfully. It complements your skills, helps you find things faster, saves time, but you remain in control. You ensure the integrity of the research.
Start small, stay curious.
That's her advice. Learn as you go.
Okay, so for you listening, if you're deep in the archives or maybe just starting out on your family tree, what's the bottom line here? AI, it clearly offers some incredible potential.
Definitely. From automating the boring stuff like transcription to maybe even sparking new ways to tell your family stories.
But, and this is the big, but its power really depends on you. You need clear goals. You need good quality source material to feed it. You absolutely have to check everything it gives you back.
Critically evaluate it all.
And always, always think about privacy and ethics, especially with living people's information. It's not a magic wand, it's a tool. A sophisticated one, but still a tool that needs your expertise to guide it.
And thinking about where this is going, AI's ability to sift through huge amounts of data, connect dots, even help structure narratives. It does raise some interesting questions, doesn't it, about the future of family history itself.
Yeah, that's the provocative thought to leave you with, really. If AI can process records on a scale we can't, and maybe spot connections we'd miss, or even help us write the stories of our ancestors.
Does that change what discovery even means in genealogy?
And as these tools get more woven into how we research, how do we as genealogists adapt? How do we make sure we're using this tech effectively, powerfully?
But still upholding those core principles. Accuracy, proof, ethical handling of information, the things that really matter in uncovering our ancestors' lives. How do we navigate that evolution?